we were talking about there is a knot in the heart, doubt in the head, and luggage on the shoulder. So the knot in the heart is the material attachment. By recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam and chanting of the holy name, Vidyate Hridaya Granthi, it is said, the knot in the heart can be slackened or cut. So what is this knot in the heart? The attachment. This is a repeating theme in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Bahya sparsheshu asaktatma bindati atmaniyat sukham. He says Bahya sparsha means external contact. Asaktatma means one who is unattached. Bindati atmaniyat sukham. One who wishes to experience the bliss of the soul in surrender to the Supreme Lord should not be too much concerned about the comfort of the external senses. You will see the whole world is geared towards having a little more comfortable car, little more comfortable bed, little more bigger house and more comfortable house, more fine dress, fine food, and fine associations. You will see this. There is a tendency in us to try to make our material life little more better, little more better, little more better. So this is one type of direction that living entities take in this world, which is 99% of the population. How to increase the standard of comfort. People who are in village want to come to town. People in town want to go to city. People in city want to go to flight to America. People in America want to go to another planet. People have a cycle, want a bike. Those who have a bike want a car. Those who have a car want a bigger car. Those who have a bigger car want to have a chartered plane. So, you will see that same with the idea of food also. Those who don't get food at all, they cry for food, beg for food. Those who already get food want more finer food. And those who are getting 3 times a day food, they want more and more opulent and finer food. So the whole world is geared towards more comfort, which manifests in 2 ways. The attraction for material opulences and attraction for the opposite sex. It is actually called as Hiranya and Kashipu. Hiranya is money, money, money. And Kashipu is the contact of the senses and sense objects, namely the attraction of man and woman. So the whole world is geared towards this. And the living entities are super busy accumulating material goods, accumulating material comforts. So the word asaktatma, the Bahya Sparsha word is very commonly used in Bhagavad Gita. You will see that. Another place Krishna says also, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya. The word Sparsha is used there also. Similarly, he says that this kind of attachment for increasing the standard of material comforts, what is the greatest curse by that? It makes the soul become forgetful of his eternal identity, eternal service in the spiritual world, and he becomes more and more bound by the ropes of material attachment, he says. This is not only with those who are married and having children and family or job and everything. Even rishis, munis are not spared from this. There are sages and saints. Vishwamitra fell prey to Menaka. You will see that. There are, Shastras say there is a gross sex, there is subtle sex. Desire to be worshipped is puja. Desire to receive donations. So if a sadhu receives big donation from a wealthy man, the sadhu's mind is controlled by the wealthy man. He has to dance according to the tune of the donor. You will see that. Similarly, one has an aspiration to be worshipped or praised by other people. Or one has a prestige. Prestige means in big assemblies, one expects that my name should be announced or I should be called to the stage to say a few words and things like that. So you will see that whether gross or subtle, this attachment for these things completely binds the soul and does not allow the soul to taste the nectar of surrender to Krishna's lotus feet. So the whole world is running madly in this direction. Therefore Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahaitu kitvayi. My dear Lord Krishna, I am not attracted to wealth or followers or beautiful women or praises by the other living entities. None of these things can touch my heart. I only want to be your devotee birth after birth. I have no other aspiration, he says. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching his followers that if you are going to aspire for accumulating these things, you will become weak in spiritual life and you will not have the strength to practice Krishna consciousness seriously. On the other hand, if you may possess these things, but if you don't become attached to these things, then one can be very Krishna conscious. Ambarish Maharaj possessed all these things. Griheshu dareshu suteshu bandhushu dipottamasyam dhanavaji vastushu akshayaratnam baranam baradishu anantakosheshu akarot asanmatim. This verse says Ambarish Maharaj had wives. He was a big king, many queens he had, many children. He had a kingdom, he had a big palace, he wore costly dresses, wore costly jewelry, and he had an inexhaustible treasury, it is said. Although he possessed all these things, he considered them all like a piece of stone. He was never attracted to any of these things. His heart was at the lotus feet of Krishna always. That means even if you possess all these material comforts and luxuries, and name, fame, glory, and all these things, but if you are unattached to it, and you are attached to chanting of the holy name and hearing the holy fame of Lord through Srimad Bhagavatam, then you can remain like a lotus in the middle of muddy pool of water. The lotus never gets touched by the mud. Therefore it is a Padma Patram Ivam Basa, Krishna says. And he quotes the example of Janak Maharaj. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam taktva karotyaha dipyate nasapapena Padma Patram Ivam Basa, he says. So, in this way, the material attachments in this world are a great stumbling block. And Krishna says, Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Apahrita Chetasam Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Samadhauna Vidhiyate. The Vyavasaya Buddhi means one-pointed attention in going back to Godhead by practicing spiritual life. That samadhi doesn't come because of material attachment, he says. That's the 10th offense. The 10th offense talks about not material attachment, it talks about maintaining material attachments. If somebody is maintaining material attachments, that person is a bound person, as if bound by ropes. He is not in a mood to get rid of that rope that binds him. And that is the situation of most living entities. On the other hand, there is another direction, like Prabhupada says, don't try to convert a small hut into a skyscraper, he says. That is called economic development. Economic development means somebody is living in a village in a hut. They are trying to convert it into a skyscraper building, wasting entire life in accumulating money for making that facility. And then after creating the skyscraper, he dies. He is not going to live there. So, one should not try to increase material comforts and luxuries for experiencing comfort in this world. Because this world is a temporary place. It is Dukalayam Ashashvatam. One has to go back to Godhead. Keep material life simple and expand spiritual life. Chant more rounds. Read more Srimad Bhagavatam. Practice spiritual life more seriously. Worship the Lord, dress Him, decorate Him, and preach His glories by distributing books, doing Harinam Sankirtan. Expand spiritual life more and more. And material life, whatever has to be done, has to be done. Nowadays you see even the college students, so much time they waste in hairstyle, going to the beauty parlor. So much time people spend on purchasing so many things in the shopping mall. Don't increase material life. Because the more you are working hard to make your material life better, you will be miserable over time. You are not going to be happy. The more you expand spiritual life, you will become blissful. Therefore, he says, Bhogaishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Apaharta Chetasam. Don't allow your consciousness to be dragged away by Maya and focus your consciousness on Krishna's lotus feet. This is the teaching. And Lord Chaitanya actually was purely presenting this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Attachment to Krishna's lotus feet is the greatest wealth. Attachment to matter is the greatest curse. And once you know this, and once you practice this, then the chanting of the holy name will be a blissful effort. One day, Gaur Krishnadas Babaji called all his associates, 20, 25 of them. Today, let us celebrate a big festival, he said. And they all thought, what is that festival? He said, today we will fast and chant all day. Today is Ekadashi day, he said. So this is the joy of a devotee, chanting the holy name more and more and keeping oneself free from the material attachments and increasing one's attachment to Krishna, as Krishna says in 7.1 Bhagavad Gita. Maya sakta manapartha yogam yunjan madashraya. Then the taste for the holy name can be increased more and more by this kind of singular focus on Krishna's lotus feet. Harinam Prabhu ki. Let's offer our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desired trees, for ocean of mercy, full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrindaki Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki